All right, if you're looking at this question, hopefully you've worked on breaking down the problem. That's where we try to figure out if the 2 is positive, if the 3 is negative, what the bigger sign is, what the answer is going to be, and whether you add or subtract. But this we'll still talk about on this one. But you do have to break down these 3 rules, and you might want to write these down, especially if you're watching this video, because it's not a lot of rules. But once you use these rules enough, you don't need to read the rules, and then you don't really need to think about it anymore because they just become natural. So once you can identify what the number is, if it's negative or positive, you understand that the bigger number wins or gets the sign. That was kind of like on the last part. And actually, we've talked about this stuff anyway. We also have the rule of if the signs are the same, we add. And if the signs are different, then we subtract. So again, bigger number wins. Add if signs are the same. Subtract if signs are different. That's it. So if you keep working, it becomes natural. Everybody who's done math enough eventually gets to the point where they don't need to think about it anymore. But let's just look at a few problems here to get you started. I'll use my highlighter again just to make sure we see it. Because again, this is kind of like what we have here. 4 is positive. We can see that. 7 is negative. Don't read it as 4 minus 7 and assume you subtract. Now, you can, as long as you understand what you're doing. But here in my brain, whenever I'm working this out, I see a positive 4, I see a negative 7. And the first rule I have is that the bigger number wins. Well, 7 is bigger, so it's going to be negative. That's all I have to do. I look for the bigger number. I see that my bigger number is negative. The answer is negative. Now, I ask myself, do these 2 numbers get along? And they don't. And since they don't get along, that means you're going to subtract because the rule says subtractive signs are different. If the signs are different, you can think about it like this again. If the signs are different, they don't get along. And so it'd be like a bunch of Obama fans sitting in a place and then a bunch of Trump fans walk in. People are not going to stay and just hang out with each other. They're going to leave. People are going to leave, so the numbers are going to go down. When signs are different, the numbers are going to go down, so therefore you subtract. And when you subtract, you do bigger number minus smaller number. You do it in the way that makes sense. We don't know 4 minus 7, but we do know 7 minus 4 is 3. That is the answer that you're looking at. So again, the first thing we did was recognize that 7 is the bigger number and it's negative, so our answer is negative. The second thing we did was recognize that the signs are different, so we subtract. Bigger minus smaller, 7 minus 4 is 3. On the next one, the 6. Sorry, I'm terrible with highlighters. I don't use them. This 6 is negative. Who cares about the plus sign? That 2 is negative. So again, all you're doing is first off looking to say, what kind of 6 is this? What kind of 2 is this? And when you're looking to see what your sign is going to be, the bigger number wins. 6 is bigger. 6 is negative. It means my answer is going to be negative. The second thing I do is say, do these 2 numbers like each other? Well, they're both negative. And since they're both negative, they are going to work together. Again, not using this for any specific way, but if Obama fans walk into a room with other Obama fans, they stay. If Trump fans walk into a room with other Trump fans, they're going to stay. So the numbers will get bigger. So what you're going to do is add 6 and 2 to make it 8. Again, looking at the third, this 5 is negative. This 6 is positive. So you look at the bigger number. The bigger number is 6. 6 is positive. The answer is going to be positive. You don't need to write the plus, but that's, I mean, if that helps you to kind of do it, that's fine. The next thing you do is say, do these 2 numbers get along? They don't get along because they're different, and so therefore you will do the bigger minus smaller. So 6 minus 5 is 1. So the answer to that is going to be positive 1. You want proof? Here you go. On the ones that we've done so far. 4 minus 7 is negative 3. Negative 6 plus parentheses negative 2 is negative 8. Negative 5 plus 6 is positive 1, a regular 1. So again, everything is working the way it's supposed to. We just have to learn to do it without a calculator because that's what your first semester is about. And that's actually just algebra in general. Your 2 is negative. You should be able to see that at this point. Please try to make sure you're working on that. And if you're having issues, talk to your teacher. Your 4 is also negative. I don't care if it says minus or whatever. I am reading this as my bigger number is negative, so my answer is negative. Both signs agree. Signs are the same, so I add them up. 4 plus 2 is 6. Stop reading it as plus, which means add, and minus, which means subtract. I can read this problem as negative 5 plus 6. I can even read this problem as negative 2 minus 4. But when I go to work it out, I can't worry about whether it says plus or minus. I have to see if the signs are different, subtract. If the signs are the same, add. And it's kind of weird to start, but when you start to do it on a regular basis, it's not so hard to get used to. You just have to keep working. Here, your 1 is negative. Here, your 9 is also negative. The bigger number wins. 9 is the bigger number. 9 is negative, which means my answer is going to be negative. The signs are the same, so you're going to add them up. Or again, because they agree, you're going to put them together. 9 plus 1, 10. Yes, it just so happened that plus sign meant add, but I don't even see that plus sign because I'm looking at this is negative, that's negative, bigger number wins, both are negative, so you add. It's these 3 rules. The bigger number wins, additive signs are the same, subtractive signs are different. That's it. That's all it comes down to. Use that over and over, and eventually it gets to be easier. You're going to see this on your homework a lot, at least in my class. I don't know what you're using this for. But the key thing to remember is you're going to get a lot of practice, but you have to take the practice seriously. 7 is negative. 1 is positive. The bigger number wins. So who wins? Negatives, because 7's bigger. These signs are different, and because they're different, we're going to subtract. Again, if they are different, they don't like each other. They're not going to just hang around and stay in the same location, so numbers are going to get smaller, so you subtract. 7 minus 1, 6. The answer is negative 6. 3 is negative. 2 is also negative. The bigger number wins, and since 3 is bigger, that means my answer is going to be negative. Both of the signs are the same. They're both negative, so we're going to add. Or in other words, they agree with each other, so the numbers are going to make a bigger group. 3 plus 2 is 5. And the last one. Remember that when there's nothing in front, you can assume it's positive. Nobody ever says I have positive $10 in my pocket. They just say $10, which means we assume it's positive. The 8 is negative. By the way, if you need to, put a plus in front of it if that's what you really have to do. Now you see the bigger number wins. 8 is negative, so your answer is negative. The signs do not agree with each other because the 2 is positive, 8 is negative, so you subtract. Again, no, they're not going to make a bigger group. 8 minus 2 is 6. Once again, if you're having issues with this, please talk to your teacher. If I am your teacher, please talk to me. But outside of that, have a good day, and I will talk to you later. Good luck.